Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Youth Talk. I have with me in the studio Shaykh Asim Luqman al-Hakeem. Pleasure, Shaykh Asim, to have you with us.
Thank you.
I also have with me three participants. We have on my left Semi, who is a translator. We have Mahmoud, who is a translator. And on the right I have Muhammad, who is a student at the German University in Cairo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Shaykh Asim, in today's episode we want to talk about leisure time, or people's youth's free time. From an Islamic point of view, should youth spend their free time in something specific, or what's the principle in that regard?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man ittaba bihudah. If we agree on the concept that deeds are judged by their intentions, so this means that whatever you do, it depends on your intention. In order for a particular thing to be accepted at the side of Allah, it has to have two important criteria in it. One, that the intention is purely for Allah. Secondly, that the action itself is in accordance to the Quran and Sunnah. It's not innovated and it's not forbidden. If we agree on this concept, then we know that Muslims should not have any leisure time that has no intention or purpose, because a real Muslim always have the intention to do something. He always has the intention to do something with a will or good intention. For example, your prayer, your fasting, and all the other forms of worship, the intention is for Allah Azza wa Jal. Now we're not talking about worship, we're talking about other actions such as playing sports, such as having a meal. These things are permissible to do, but if you add to them a good intention, they are transformed into a form of worship. So in this sense, Muslim youth and any other Muslim category, if they have a good intention in all what they do, then all their actions are transformed into worship.
Okay, I'd like to hear from the participants what they spend their leisure time in. For example, Sami?
Okay, I like some things that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered us to do, like riding horses. That will be in my village when I'm traveling to my village in Upper Egypt.
It's something like reading Quran and making new contacts with new friends, and some sort like that.
And Muhammad?
Playing football, sometimes reading, and playing with my friends most of the time.
Okay, so Shaykh Asim, you were mentioning about the fact of intention in what you do. So if somebody plays, for example, sport or something with the intention of being healthy or being having good physique, is that then something that's good to spend your leisure time in? Or your free time in, shall I say?
Anything that you do, you have to cross-examine it with Quran and Sunnah. So if there is nothing that contradicts with the Quran and Sunnah, then it is permissible for you to do. So playing sports in general, soccer in particular, if all the players adhere to the dress code in Islam, which means that they cover the area between the belly button and their knees, and they do not swear, they do not fight, they do not harm each other, they do not waste time, prayer time, that is, they're prepared to pray to pray on time, and they don't involve any form of gambling, then this is something permissible for them to do. I know that this is a little bit difficult, especially in what we see in our youth, the rage, the impulsive acts, the amount of swearing, and the urge to win at any cost, even if it was at the cost of harming someone else, then this becomes haram. This becomes forbidden, because Islam promotes peace, promotes being kind to the others, and there's no justification for you to harm others, to insult others, just for the sake of your own pleasure. But before we move on to the other point, the Prophet ﷺ, lots of the brothers think that he told us to encourage our children to ride horses, swim, and what do you call this, archery?
Archery.
Yes. Actually, he did not. This is the teaching of Umar, the second caliph of Islam. Nevertheless, these forms of sports are quite helpful. They encourage the Muslims to be healthy. They enrich their character by making them look to something that is noble and fine.
What about when friends get together just to sit and talk, for example, or go out somewhere, for example? Not necessarily play a sport.
Again, you have to cross-examine this with the Quran and Sunnah. What type of chatting are they having? Are they simply spending the time talking about permissible things, about cars, about sports, about school, about the economy, about things that concern them and they would find it suitable to spend time talking about? Or are they spending their time slandering people, backbiting, saying dirty jokes, trying to make plots and plans to date this one or the other one? Then this becomes in the form of the forbidden things. It all depends on the objectives and on the tools used in these meetings.
And, well, I seem to be the one who's doing all the talking.
Okay, having agreed that our life on earth is so limited and short, and let me now mention a very remarkable sentence I have read for Avicenna, one of the most famous scholars in the peak of the Islamic civilization. Once he said, "Oh God, I ask you a wide life, but not a long one." Should I hear some comment from you?
Who was this?
Avicenna, Ibn Sina.
Well, okay. With all due respect, he was a scholar in the sense of materialistic sciences. But in terms of religious sciences, some say that he was not a Muslim, because he wrote so many things that doubt the existence of Allah, and he went into philosophy into a very serious and dangerous thing, but he's not our topic today.
Apart from his philosophy and what it pertains to the theology and something like that, I want to stress upon the importance of this sentence. It's according to the Islamic instructions, it has to do with the Islamic instructions. Okay. Here you.
Well, again, this is a point that I don't think we need to elaborate a lot on, simply because it was not from the Quran and it's not from the Sunnah. We can have so many sayings of intellectual people, but that does not mean that we should follow them, because as Muslims, we have the Quran and the Sunnah to benchmark and follow what they teach us. The Prophet ﷺ told us that on the Day of Judgment, people will be asked about their lifetime, what they have spent it in. And they will be asked about their youth. How did they utilize their youth and strength? They will be asked about their knowledge. What did they do in the things that they knew about? And they will be asked about their income. Where did they get it and where did they spend it? So this utilizes the whole idea and concept of your time. As long as you're going to be asked about each and every second of your life, then you should utilize this. Now, what this man said of wishing to have a wide life, not a long one, I don't know if he wanted a wide or wild life.
Wide.
Well, then it's a
Full
wide
of
life,
events.
meaning that he wanted it to be filled with
Yes.
achievements and so on. Yet, our Prophet ﷺ tells us that one of the best among you is